Happy New Year, everybody, pips. Innit? 2024. Who would have thunk it? I don't know. The last year just went faster than a speeding bullet.
Just wait.
Oh no.
If you think that was a show.
Excuse me, I don't remember eating a frog this morning either. I don't know what's
you sound a little wheezy. I think you're allergic to something.
I don't know. Maybe, am I allergic to you?
Maybe.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I don't know.
What are we to do? Shall we see who's here?
Yes.
Let's do that.
Oh gosh.
Well, hello everybody, pips, isn't it? There's lots of people. Hello Savannah, hello Cass, hello Helena, hello Gilda, hello Susan, hello Wendy.
Oh my God, no Sean?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's
That's not like him.
He's waking up. I don't know. I don't know.
Morning after the night before, right?
It could be. Could be. There could be a few delicate souls today.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? I know we had a little drinky. We had some wine
stayed up.
and stuff.
Yeah, a little
saw
wine,
the
but
game.
didn't drink much. But we stayed up till I think around 2. We were watching some British murder mystery television kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, but interesting actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
Thorn, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called Thorn.
Yeah, Thorn. He's
some kind of detective thing.
Yeah, we're a sucker for British TV, so that's kind of, you know, we get so little time to actually stick our butts down and do nothing. Well, you know, there's only so much Happy New Year and champagne cork popping that you can tolerate in the course of one day, isn't there, really?
We didn't have any champagne.
No, we didn't. No, but there's lots of people doing this and, you know, watching balls drop and all that fun stuff. So
I mean, we watched that for like the last 5 minutes, but I just can't get into...
I had to leave with the old year,
to the
as is
Hogmanay,
tradition. Hogmanay, Mrs. Doubtfire and all that sort of stuff, isn't it? Gosh, well, I think good noon. Hopefully everybody's waking up and is in fine fettle, because we've got an interesting show for you today.
Well,
she's been digging into her astrology.
Well, I just think it's very, I don't know, may you live in interesting times. And,
oh God, that's a Chinese curse.
And I really think that, you know, we don't really recognize that we really are in a very pivotal place in astrological history. Somebody else has just come. Was that Misty?
Hello, Misty. Happy New Year.
I'll put her on the list. So, you know, there's this... well, I guess we'll start with the regular energy of the month, because that's what people are kind of interested in. And later on today, we'll put up the tarot scopes for January. So Mercury went direct, alleluia. However, it won't get back to the place where it started to retrograde until the sun goes into Aquarius.
Oh,
How
good
interesting
Lord.
is that?
Some
So
ways.
it'll get back to its station on the 21st. It'll be out of the shadow on the 21st.
You got to check out these hieroglyphics she's reading from at the moment.
It's on right here. See?
Well,
Mercury direct in Sag at 22 degrees.
Hold it up for people in viewerland so they can see.
They
This
all
is
know me by now.
this makes sense, you know.
It does. All right. So Mercury's direct, and we might feel that things are starting to move forward a little bit, but we won't really feel that impact until it gets out of the shadow, which will be when the sun moves into Aquarius on the 20th, 21st. So what does that mean? That means that we have about 3 weeks, right? 21 days, 20 days from today, to kind of get ourselves in a good space, right? You know, what do they say that one of the first signs of mental illness is to repeat the same thing and expect a different outcome,
that's
right?
That's a psychosis, that is.
Yeah.
It's repeating the same actions, expecting a different result.
So I really, you know, always in the beginning of the year, we talk about resolutions and the changes people want to make and how we're going to do all these things. And I think what I want to talk about is for this month, it really is quite important while we still have a lot of Capricorn energy, right? We're going to have the Capricorn new moon on the 12th, the 11th, 12th. We're going to celebrate it on the 12th. And we have that like sense of security And I think while we have that little bit of groundedness and sense of security, it might be a good idea to take advantage of it. And really kind of think to yourself, okay, how can I build a solid footing for myself? And I was kind of liking it to, strapping yourself in so you don't quite get taken out of your seat by the G-force.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh no.
But I do think this new year is going to usher in quite a wild cycle. And, I'm still on that kick about the age of Aquarius, saying that 1960 to 2020 was that tick from 1159 to 12. And that 2020 to 2080 is where we are now in the actual tick into that time frame. And I just want us to get ready, right? We're in the Birch lunation, which is a time of new beginnings and fresh starts. And Birch is seen as the light. And I think a lot of us who are awake and sensitive are kind of being called upon to be the light, to offer that kindness and inspiration and all the things that you would think about that light offers. Life, light, love, all those things are going to be really, really important, not just this month, but this year. And we're going to have the new moon on the 11th, which will usher in the Rowan lunation. And Rowan is fire of fire. So then we'll start to see things begin to heat up a bit, right? Because Birch is spirit of fire and Rowan is fire of fire. And then we have our Leo full moon on the 25th. And then I'm turning 60 on the 26th. But I really think these next 3 weeks are important foundation for the year, right? Your building is only going to be as stable as the foundation. So if you have to try to set yourself a schedule or a routine, whether it's a new or an old routine, try to get yourself a routine, right? Like I'm going to try to remember to water my plants every Monday because the weeks are just going by so quickly. So I've decided that after we have our show, I'm going to try to remember to water my plants. Is that finally Sean?
No, that's Savannah.
Oh, okay. Hi, Savannah.
Happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, try to get yourself into some sort of routine in a sense that will mark time, if you know what I mean. Right? Like you say, okay, it's Tuesday, it's the day I'm going to do whatever. Wednesday is the day I'm going to do whatever. And take these 3 weeks to try to get yourself in some sort of routine or cycle, because we're going to be here saying happy 2025 in a second.
Well, a few seconds.
Yeah, it's really going to be crazy. So, yeah. We're going to really feel like a push me, pull me kind of energy. You know, if you look at the Queen of Swords, she has her left hand, I believe, is the come here, come here, come here, and her right hand is a sword. So she's like, come here, come here, come here, not too close. Come here, come here, come here, not too close. And I kind of feel like that's where we are with this tick on the clock, right?
You got me now, because I thought a sword was in the left hand.
Well, I don't know.
I have to look. I really have to look.
Well,
if
that's
that's the
fine.
case,
Go
she's a
ahead and
lefty.
look.
I never knew. Keep
left is receptive and right is projective.
Right, yeah, but
anyway, well,
oh
whatever.
yeah, no, I got it facing the other way. It is. There you go.
Okay,
I was thinking about it looking the other way. So.
Right.
Right. It is in the right hand.
The sword's in the right hand. Yeah, that's your projective. Yeah. And I think we're all going to kind of feel that energy these next few weeks. So it is definitely a time to try not to seesaw. And then things are going to take off, you know. very, very much a time of transition, you know. Let me just look and see what else I got here, because I'm
Misty's a
I'm
tad younger than you. She turns 36 on
36.
Thursday. Well,
Wow.
happy birthday to
birthday.
you. Ah.
All right, so how do we settle in?
How
How do we
settle?
get ourselves in a routine?
I don't know.
Well, sometimes routines aren't boring. They can offer us a sense of security.
Well, that's true. That's
You know?
true. You know, if you get you do your chores, you do what you've got to do. You know, they get done, don't they? And
Right.
sometimes having a routine, you know,
Or a reminder.
something that you do.
Yeah,
It's
it's really about a reminder and a sense of security that I'm suggesting this for.
It is, because I mean our lives are largely abject chaos. You know, we set out with a plan to do something, and you know something comes out of left field and changes it all completely.
Right.
So maybe having that, you know, routine perhaps that you can fall back on helps. You know, okay, we got completely derailed, but let's get back there again. You
Right.
know?
And I really think these next 3 weeks are about trying to establish some sort of routine for a sense of security, right? Because there's going to be so much crazy energy, from micro to macro crazy energy, right? Energy within yourself and your sensitive connection to things around you, and energy within the planet and the universe. It's just going to be a little bit wild. So find something that could be your anchor. And, you know, maybe now is a great time to get a new mantra,
Mantras, eh?
right? Something you can speak into being. So,
Serenity now.
well, something like that, yeah. If you're feeling really challenged, or if something happens, it might be a good idea to have a sense of security with something you can tell yourself, right? And because of where we are, it would be good if it had some sort of words like, I am safe and secure. I am happy and secure. I am, you know, I am grounded and focused and secure. Something that seems like it would be very Capricorn, right? Safety and security kind of energy to anchor you for the flight. Be careful when opening the overhead compartment.
Yes, as contents
Just
may have
be
shifted
shifted
during
during
the
the flight.
flight. Yes, I remember it well.
But seriously, you know, if you could close your eyes and allow yourself to see all those little pin dots of light, that pranic energy, and just say out loud, I am safe and secure.
Oh yeah, well, lots of people joining us now. Maybe
Hello.
everybody got off to a late start. Oh, hey Jen.
Jen, hello.
Speaking of people who've just had a birthday, ha.
Capricorn.
So there you go. There you go.
But yeah, it definitely is a time to establish some sort of pattern that's going to help you. Now, I know last year we talked about cleansing and clearing and, you know, that kind of stuff. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that as we go forward.
No, she's misled. She says Capricorns are the best. Leos, love. Leos.
Oh, God.
It's always Leos. It is. Let's be fair.
Right.
Anyway, pray continue.
All right. But yeah, there's just a lot of wild stuff happening. And I think that getting a routine is important. Yes, we can all have goals like the common ones. I want to clean my home. I want to get financial stability. I want to lose weight. I want to do all those things. You know, I resolve resolutions to do all those things. And that's all well and good. But I think in order to achieve any of that right now, you're going to have a routine that will
Something
save
on
you
which
from
you
the
can
crazy.
fall back on when the crazy goes crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I was talking about this with somebody the other day, and they said, "Have you ever read truly a resolution? You know, like something that's been passed through, Congress or even local government. You know, and it starts off with a whole load of whereas. You know, whereas blah 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 blah. Whereas blah 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 blah. It is resolved, and the resolve is like this addresses all of those whereases. Whereases." You know what I mean. Sorry, words, they're complicated. it addresses all of those and it puts into writing what the specific resolution of that is, and that's what is resolved. So a lot of people, I think, come this time of year, confuse a resolution with an intention. You know, and what is it they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Well, I mean, it's wonderful to have something to look forward to and be a part of and want to make that positive change in your life. That's absolutely, we all have those kind of things. And I'm not disputing any of that. I'm just saying, in order to make that happen, this year especially, I think we have to have that sense of safety and security to take the steps, right? You know, I am whole and complete. I am safe and secure. And you could add whatever you wanted to that. I have physical well-being. I have financial well-being. I have health, wealth, and happiness. Whatever you're going to make your mantra, and whenever you feel, you know, the earth shaking, because it is going to rock and roll, close your eyes, see those lights, and say, I am safe and secure. I have financial security. I have, you know, health, wealth, and happiness. Whatever it is, I am, to try to root yourself or ground yourself, because I think things are going to get intense, and I think that outside forces beyond our control are going to work to manipulate us, and we need to stay awake.
Well, staying awake while driving is always a good idea, isn't it? So, yeah. Oh, so the natives are revolting, I see.
Are they?
Yes, but they're the best we've got. No. So, yes, waffles. I'm not waffling. I was speaking profoundly there. It was profound and meaningful. That was not waffling. I refuse to be tarred with your brush.
Oh, gosh, it's too early.
You can shove it.
All
right. What are we doing now? Your turn to waffle, although you've been waffling a lot already.
I've been waffling a lot. I'm checking my notes a few times here. Okay. So yeah, mantras, action, breathing, telling yourself good things. Happy New Year. What do you know about April Fools?
Oh, goodness gracious me. How profound is this? Because we had somebody, obviously whose English is not their first language, comment about, I don't understand why I've got all these weird dates, why Christmas occurs here in this calendar and this calendar here and in this calendar here, and what are the three wise men and what's little epiphanies and all that kind of stuff. And I just basically tried to explain to them, which probably confused them more. I said, look, you know, people with an agenda, you know, be it a king, a ruler, a religious leader, a church, whatever, they've got their own agendas, and they've changed things, the dates as we've gone. The calendar's been rewritten umpteen different times, and the whole idea of the April Fool, as I understand it, was bear in mind that would have been the start of the calendar around then, that those people
Spring
who thought, you know, this is the start of the year where we got 0 degrees
Aries,
the beginning of
the
you
zodiac.
know, and yet, you know, but the April Fools, you see, although that's like March into April, you know, that's the end of March into April, that really is the start of the year, and it was it wasn't really hinged on a calendar date per se. If you don't have a calendar, if you lived in the country, if you were, how should we say, a heath dweller, a heathen, or somebody that the Romans called paganus, the country dwellers, the pagans, they didn't have access to the wisdom of the city, and so they were so foolish that they didn't realize that this calendar that Caesar has determined that the year shall start in January. But there's some dead giveaways if you look at the calendar. Have you ever noticed that we have sept, oct, nov, and dec at the end of the year, which are 7, 8, 9, and 10 months, but this is the 12th month for December? Figure that one out.
Right, Deci, we know Deci is 10.
So, a bit of a dead giveaway there. So, yeah, dates have been changed to suit people's particular agendas, to honour them, to celebrate a particular festival.
Well, I think people used to look to the skies more often. They looked for those omens and predictions, and how they saw the coming forecast was by looking at similar things that had happened in the past
Well, that's what empirical evidence
when
is.
those things happened. So this April, we are going to have a big eclipse.
Oh, and there's going to be a bloody comet visible at the same
So
time.
we had a set of eclipses, obviously, in 23, which were on the Scorpio-Taurus axis, right? And eclipses, ecliptic eons, ages, they go backwards. So the next set, instead, you would think, oh, if it was Taurus and Scorpio, it's going to be Gemini, Sag. But it goes the opposite way. So the eclipses for 24 are Aries, Libra, right? Where
Cardinals.
the nodes have shifted into those signs as well. So historically, astrologers would look and see where this eclipse is visible, and those places may have notable things going on. So this eclipse is going to be over Texas, most of the concentration of it over Texas, and then it's going to hit the edge of New York and Maine. And I thought that was really interesting because there's a lot of unrest in Texas, and then Maine had that huge shooting recently.
Unusual for Maine.
Unusual for Maine. And Maine has also made quite a political move recently to remove Trump from the ballot. So this is the kind of crazy we're having. Now, during this eclipse in April, something else is going to happen. There are going to be 2 comets that will be visible. So we have...
Comets are like omens, aren't they?
They are.
Are they good or bad omens, is the question.
I think it's like, hey, look up, get ready.
Don't look up.
Stuff's happening, right? Stuff is happening. Here comes this age of Aquarius. Here comes this, humanitarian kind of stuff. But in order to get there, we have to break out of that which has come before, right? The drama, it's not going to be all easy stuff. Change is bad, right?
Well, if you're a Taurus, it is.
Well, we're trying to break that.
And that happens to be
kind of like a patriarchy thing, giving away to balance, right? So, if the pendulum's way over here and then it's way over here, it eventually comes back to a center, but getting there is a difficult.
Change is seldom painless.
Correct. And the last bit of the crack of the whip is where things really get interesting. What is this?
Had company show up. Sean's finally joined us. Oh. Hello, Sean. Well, company can watch too. Although they think you're strange then, probably. Anyway.
Yeah, well, we are all strange. We're all here because we're not all there. Say that a lot. So
we said change is like, ouch, and it really is. It's like the old guard is fighting like hell to try and hold its position, even though it has to give way. And it becomes, unfortunately, like the rebellious cell, almost like kind of cancer within the body where it just refuses to die and give way and be replaced, so everything can grow and get better. It starts to cause huge problems.
Well,
we can see that in the polarization.
Because before we come to a place of peace, each side really tries to be the dominant one, right? So again, this sense of safety and security is going to be important.
Right.
And, when we look at, you were saying like empirical evidence, or when we look to history, we see these kind of similar push me, pull me's, like the rise of Napoleon and that kind of French Revolution, and then a resolve. So I think, there is this kind of revolutionary Aquarian energy that will come to some sort of resolve. This year, Uranus is going to stay in Taurus. And, chaos, panic, and disorder, my work here is done kind of thing. So we are still going to see seismic activity.
There was a massive earthquake in Japan last night.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. We're going to see that kind of thing as Uranus finishes its tour. It goes into Gemini in July of 2025. So that's when chaos, panic, and disorder with communication will really be more predominant.
Oh, good.
So right now, though,
that's all we need.
Yeah. And Jupiter is touring with Uranus for a while in Taurus before it moves on into Gemini. So for the next 3 or 4 months, we may have those guys in tandem. So let's expand on that Taurian energy. Let's expand on chaos, panic, and disorder. So you should really look in your chart and see where this is going off.
Pool.
Lucky me, it's going off in my house of career, so things could really go well.
Well, I don't know. We're doing our best to be less of a well-kept secret, so maybe that's the push we need. I know, because.
Well, I just feel like
just cause
this year is really going to offer us a ton of distraction. Right?
I'm easily distracted. I'm the Leo.
Well, as this shift is happening, a lot of the planets, the outer planets, are moving from earth and water into air and fire. And I said this at the beginning of last year. So, air and fire, air fuels the fire and things get moving. So there's tons of distractions. And I think we're also going to see a lot of stuff going on with AI. And I think we have to get ready to be grounded, focused, and discern, is this real or not?
Oh, that it's going to be really bloody difficult. When something can analyze your voice and your moving image and can create a deep fake, seriously, that looks like you, that sounds like you, but really it ain't you. That's where it gets spooky.
Yeah. Is this real?
Or not? So I know I'm reminded of the journalistic principle, which is believe absolutely nothing you read and only half of what you see with your own eyes. So, go up and touch that person, make sure they're actually real. So even though we have these massive advances in communication technology, and AI certainly has great benefits. I mean, it can reduce computational time and come up with various permutations, that would take a human being an awful long time to do. So this deep neural network learning, so to speak, is can be beneficial, but it can also be quite scary when you think about it, because you can fake up, and this, to all intents and purposes, this video looks entirely real. You can see it now. I mean, you can just AI built into Photoshop. I don't know if you guys do any sort of graphical work or whatever, but you can say, put me a lighthouse on that shore, and bam, there it is, done. And you just typed a few words in there. So it's taken what it knows about lighthouses and all of the information it's parsed, and just goes ahead and creates one perfectly with the lighting in that photograph, so it looks like it really is there. And
so discernment, again, having a center, having a foundation, having a vantage point, having the ability to call upon your experience to look at something and decide, is this real or not? It's really interesting. I was having a powwow on Psychic Fair Saturday. I was having a little powwow in the hall with some people, and Hannah in particular. Hannah is one of our readers. She's there on Wednesdays.
She's lovely.
And, I was kind of discussing the astrology and things that are happening and world events and all that kind of stuff. And, I said, I really feel that this year we are going to be needed more than ever, because people are going to start to look to the heavens. They are going to start to, talk about other and the old gods. And I joked with her and I said, UFOs are going to make a resurgence and people are going to start talking about the paranormal. And I had told her that I was doing some research, astrological research, and I found this program, and they had Bob Zoller on this program, and Bob Hand, and Bob Schmidt. And Bob Hand wrote the Planets in Transit book that I give out in my astrology class. And we studied with Robert Zoller, who's passed away. And then, during the course of this, they were talking about Bob Hand's seminal work, and the other guy said, well, that never would have came about if it wasn't for Ashokan and Acker's book, The Astrologer's Handbook. And I thought, that's insane. Both of those people, Louis Acker and Robert Zoller, worked at the shop, taught, held workshops, did charts, and were part of our space. And what an amazing life to have had the experience of those guys. And Hannah reminded me that she was at Duke University in the 70s with a guy named J.B. Rhine, who coined parapsychology, who coined that word, parapsychology, and those 5 cards that you look to see if you have extrasensory perception. So, we both kind of said, well, that experience, that life experience, that understanding, those people who have touched, it's just really wild that we end up in that space. The awareness shop is some really kind of crazy vortex place. And I think that we're really going to see this resurgence of astrology, Wicca, earth-based religions, and also people looking to the heavens, astrology, astronomy. And we joked about UFOs. And then that night I found on Facebook somebody had put up a joke about a UFO museum that was going to come to the Groovy Blueberry, and I was laughing and I said, oh, it's not really, but I said, this is the kind of thing, discernment, is this real or is it not? It's just really weird, this shift that's happening. And, be the light, people, be the voice of reason. And when we think about that, the voice of reason says, I can reason this out, right? It isn't like the voice of restriction. It isn't the voice of suppression. The voice of reason says, look at these choices and reason it out. And I think we're all going to be called upon to kind of have that discernment. Is this real or is it not?
Yeah.
Is this reasonable or unreasonable? Could this really be happening? Or is this somebody's, sick kind of joke?
All right, you physicists will correct me on which one of the 3 it is, but one of Newton's 3 laws is for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And the more something is pushed in one particular direction, the more pushback there is against it. So although we're going to see, AI exploding, the need for discernment is going to push back on that. Is this real? Can I believe what I'm actually seeing here? And then it starts to go deeper. People want to know, how do you know whether... if you have got no ability to do mental arithmetic whatsoever, you're entirely trusting upon the cashier to give you the right change. Because they just throw some coins in your hand, you think, oh, that must be right? A lot of cashiers have to rely on their register or their computer terminal to tell you how much change you've got. Lisa and I are old school. We can just count this stuff in our head.
Right. We
You
know
what I mean?
5 and 5 are 10.
It's so, and when I'm writing code, I don't have to be like bang on with the math, but I need to know if I'm something within the ballpark, and if I've like
Right.
missed it by several orders of magnitude, or the decimal points like six
When I'm
places
running
wrong.
numbers on the calculator, I can type numbers on the calculator faster than I can type. But I know if I've made a mistake.
Right.
It's not logical.
It's like, oh, no, this is wrong. This is, and
Right.
that's
That's where we're going to be at.
so people are going to start to question possibly everything as a result of that, and this then causes pushback against like the revealed religions, if you will, into where do these dates come from? Like people go, oh, it's Easter, happy Easter, happy Easter. What's Easter about? I mean, do you know, for example, that Easter is celebrated on the first Sunday following the first full moon following the equinox, and that's how it's calculated. So it's based on the sun rising due east, Easter, that equinox time where, he has risen from the dead of winter, that light now becomes stronger than the dark kind of thing. And so when we get into that, when we start to understand the underlying meaning and we start to dig and we want to know more about it, we become smarter as a result.
Well, we've kind of seen this whole big section of, I want to do shadow work. I want to do shadow work. I want to do shadow work. Right?
You need light for shadow.
But again, this is like, what's in that dark space? And I think that a lot of people they think they're doing shadow work, but, Anyway, I don't want to get into that. But
don't get all accusatory on our viewers.
Everybody's an empath. Everybody's doing shadow work. But we have to understand that this trend is kind of moving us forward into the age of Aquarius. And Aquarius's ancient ruler was Saturn. And we'll note now that Saturn has moved into Pisces, right? So that planet of karma, lesson, wisdom is now in a very psychic sign, right? Pisces is creative and the dreamer and the musician and the poet and the bardic kind of energy. So I think that it's very reasonable that Saturn, the planet of reason, is now in the sign of the mystic. That's a really interesting pairing for the next 3 years or so. Pluto, well, that's another story. Pluto is going to move into Aquarius on the 21st. So it'll be conjunct or combust the sun and Mercury coming out of the shadow. And that's really, again, our turning point where things really start to go forward into that eclipse in April. And
oh my.
no, we're really, this is like I know I'm getting all crazy and Aquarian on you, but this is the galactic shift. There's a 12,000 year increment, right? Where we have this 6.
Is that like the Mayan long count?
Well, we have 6 2,000 year aeons, right? And there are people who believe that the Sphinx was built during the age of Leo, 72,000 years ago. Again, the 6 of 12.
It's really interesting because I know you follow Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an interesting guy. He's a science guy. You would know that. But he's starting to dig into like monumental history and I saw a post, I think you even shared it, where it got the 3 pyramids in Egypt lined up with the 3 pyramids in Mexico lined up with 3 pyramids on the far end of Asia, China or somewhere, I think.
And then there are the 3 stars in Orion's belt.
They match the 3 stars, and they're all perfectly orientated due north, and they match the 3 stars in Orion's belt. And he says, it's his own personal opinion, but that we had a far more advanced society than we think we had in the past. So we've lost a lot of wisdom somewhere.
Right.
It's gotten hidden, obfuscated, and I think digging into this, remembering the past, restoring the wisdom, if you will, is something that drives us very much. And I think it's a great year for this.
Right. Well, again, now, so we're looking at the age of Aquarius, and we're seeing that we're coming into that 12,000 year cycle where we are in a place of a lot of solar flares and, out there stuff that is affecting in here stuff. And I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but I really think you're going to see people seeking information from like the angelic realm and the old gods and the pyramids and lost knowledge and things like that. So we really have to kind of call upon our instinct, our innate wisdom. We have to look at, again, what is reasonable, what is real, and there are going to be a ton of newcomers that will really need the guidance of the people who have been around, 30, 40 years doing this kind of stuff. And I really think that we're going to see a lot more people looking at leaving the revealed religions and working their way back into nature and the stars and cycles and things like that.
I love the but, isn't it? Behold the underlying truth. And that is it. When you start to dig in something and you go, well, what does this mean? Where does it come from? Where is that origin? And the need to, I think we all, it's endemic. It's part of the human condition that we must all determine where we come from. I think we need to know that on a very deep level. It's part of who we are.
Well, I think it was Carl Sagan who said, we are either entirely alone in the universe or we're not. And each of those things is just as scary.
Equally terrifying,
right?
Yeah.
But I think that, yes, looking at that on a macrocosm spectrum, we're either alone or we're not, but also bringing that inside of us. You're either alone in your thoughts or you're not. You either find your tribe or you don't. And it's time, people, to try to find your tribe and work in the light. Be the voice of reason. Be the be the
bridge.
The bridge, the
be
reliever.
The bridge. Yeah.
The person who says, wait, does that sound right? Does that sound right? Let's change our perspective and think about this in a different way. Why is this happening? And is this happening for good reason? And how can we make this better? How can we restore? And how can we feel safe? I think there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff. And I'm not being a gloom and doom. I don't mean it that way. It's going to lead us to fantastic things. But we just have to navigate the waters to find a safe landing,
For sure, for definite. It's but it is interesting times, and you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. And so there's going to be some people who wind up knocked out of joint, feeling that they're losing their place, that their relevance.
Well,
their
the old
agency.
guard doesn't want to give up, do
Yeah.
they? We're looking at Capricorn stuff that doesn't want to give up, right? Pluto in Capricorn, banking, corporations, greed, billionaires,
Greed.
struggle, power struggle, all that's all very Pluto in Capricorn. And now it has to give way to Pluto in Aquarius, the humanitarian, the equal rights, the rights for, all people. It's going to be a very, very crazy, interesting year.
A lot of pushing, a lot of pulling.
Yep.
Not peaceful, unfortunately.
But I do think we're
profoundly moving.
When we get to that other end, to the eclipse that's happening in September,
Right.
in the Libra time of year, when we get to that other end of it, that's going to be like another turning point. So we have these next 3 weeks to get our act together, to figure out our mantra of safety and security, to start our routines so we don't get pulled into the crazy, right? And then things are going to build and build and build until we get to the April eclipse. Then we're going to see a big shift. We get to the April eclipse and things are going to really, I mean, this year's just going to go so quickly. And then when we get to the September eclipse, we're going to start to see the light, you know? But we really do have to remember not everything we're going to see or hear is real.
Sean, thank you so much for that. That's very, very kind of you.
Oh, yes, Celtica. Yes, we've been
Celtica.
doing really good with the roundup for Celtica stuff.
Little micro donations, that's what it is.
They've been adding up. The property is still for sale. Crossing our fingers that nobody buys it till we can get to a place where we can buy it ourselves. There's another big piece of property, 50 acres, that has high tension wires through it that they're talking about developing now.
Into a massive warehouse.
50 acres, and they want to build like a 10-acre warehouse, and there's worried about the groundwater, and that's just around the corner into Modena Gardner area.
Yeah. Put another 271 trucks on the road. Not sure.
I don't know what we can really do except really just try to focus and hunker down.
Push love into the situation. This is what we would do. Will there be any updates on the barn? Yes. I'm so far behind. We've got it all documented. We've just got to get busy with it. You know.
Yeah, it's this year went so quickly. When we started to do our Hogmanay last night, you know, I said, it seems like a second ago we were doing this last year. And that really is kind of scary because this year is going to go even faster than last year. And it's not just that we're getting older, it's that things are accelerating. I mean, I could get into the real weird occult talk about the galactic center and all kinds of things like that, but I won't bore you all with that. All I'm going to tell you is strap yourself in, find your center, get your mantra, get your routine, because it's going to be a wild ride between here and April, between April and September, and then they'll out of 2023.
It's a time not without challenge. But if we are up for it, if we have the courage to face the essay, so to speak, and we continue to do what we can to be the bridge and spread love and understanding, that's the key here.
But we really do have these kind of 3-4 month periods, which to me are very interesting, looking at them divided into those three sections.
Yeah. Kind of, it's interesting, isn't it? 3s and 4s. It's almost like a bloody waltz.
Right, or the 3 rays, you know.
The 3 sets of the signs. The 3.
Right. But from now till April, you kind of have that, you know, high magic push-pull of religion, right? And then we could say May through to August, that section is more about nature and earth and planet stuff. And then the last bit, September through December, might end up to be more magical occult focus. So that might, you know, be interesting. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
I also, before we get into reading today,
right.
I wanted to talk about our newest statue, which is Airmid.
Pick her up.
And she is amazing. She has a Celtic knotwork of the healer on her neck, and she has a triskel on her pouch here of herbs, and she has herbs in her hands, and she's just really beautifully done. And Airmid's story is a story of resurrection. She resurrects her brother, and this is his grave. So she has her cloak with all the herbs on it, and he has a tree of life that's done with apples. And she will be available very shortly. She should be in the store just in time for the herb class to start.
Although we don't promise the ability to resurrect anybody.
No. But the herb class is oversold. I took 2 extra seats, so I have 18 instead of 16. I don't know how I'm going to feed all those people, but we'll see.
I know you started planting familiars.
I'm starting to work on plant familiars. And this coming Saturday, the Chakra Crystal Energy Clinician course begins, and I do have a couple seats left there. So if you were thinking about wanting to learn how to work with chakras, planets, crystals, and that kind of energy.
It's an awesome course. It really is.
That starts on Saturday.
You get a massive binder and a huge collection of crystals.
You get over 60 crystals.
Pardon me.
And you learn what they're about, how to use them. All right.
So you do. Best light that candle then.
Yes.
And we shall pull cards.
And like I said, later on today, I will put up, I'll record and he'll put up the tarot scopes for the month.
All right then. I'm sorry, I've got a terrible frog in my throat.
Really? I don't know what's going on with you.
Probably shouldn't be drinking coffee with half and half in it. So just have
all right,
tea.
Savannah.
Me, you, who?
You go first.
All right, now I'm feeling this one because it just looks like this is the one I need to get. Oh.
Building.
Yes and no. I love this because on a trivial level, this can just simply indicate home improvements, sprucing the place up a bit, moving some things around, redecorating, maybe, fixing a room up differently, changing it around, whatever. However, this is actually this is one of my favourite cards of the Minor Arcana, the Three of Pentacles, and I love it. These are the supernals. They're above the...
Keter Bina Chokma.
Yep, and these show that these are above our understanding, above our ability of perception, But this is like the universal wisdom, and it's flowing through these characters, these 3 players in this scene here. The abbot wants to build a lasting edifice for his god. He don't know what to do, so he talks to this guy who turns up in a Volvo, and he'd be the architect, and this guy, the master mason, executes it. So there's a thing here. Whilst it may seem crazy and all that sort of stuff, ideas are great. Without an idea without a plan is just a wish, yeah. But a plan with no action is going nowhere. So idea, plan, action, and I think that should be your kind of mantra. And it is part of your higher purpose, your personal development. So that would be my take on that. I'll keep it short because she's going to shout at me otherwise.
Well, no. I knew we were going to run long today, but we don't have our appointment with our tarot artist. So, Savannah, things getting done around the house, clearing, moving, changing, growing, and finding your tribe. I see those 2 things kind of be predominant for... at least this week anyway. But yes, I think this signifies quite a bit of growth through the understanding of how to grow.
Splendid.
All
Your
right.
turn.
And Sean, if you had a dark orange candle, it smells kind of like gingerbread. And if you had a light orange candle, it smells like plumeria, because we either put house blessing or blessing candles in. So this card now is for Cass.
We have a new viewer. Hello, Venetia. Welcome to our channel.
Oh, Venetia. Well, we know who she is. Happy New Year.
We do?
Yes.
Well, you do.
All right. Cass, the 10 of Cups, the promise of happiness. I really think you are getting your act together. I think you've done a lot of planning and thinking, and I think you're ready. You're ready to take the step you've been planning for, and I think this month is going to help you make that shift, take that step, and grow in the direction you want to grow in.
Basically, this card does not suck.
No.
It does not suck. This really is, the
That
promise
rainbow.
of a very
Happy
life, happy existence, if you will. And, great security there as well, because you've got the house on the hill with the river running past, which is that wonderful omen. You've got that stability, you've got your source of fresh water and food, etc., etc. So it's good, it's secure, there's much to celebrate, and it's okay to be happy. Seriously, it's okay to be happy.
All right. Helena.
Just feel we need to tell you that.
It's okay to be happy.
It's okay to be happy. Oh.
Ooh.
Speaking of houses on the hill with the river running past, you got a bloody palace here. I think this for you, you're going to up your game thinking wise. I think this past year has been challenging for you, but I think you're moving into a place of clearer air, where you can get your creative juices flowing, and that's going to lead you to moving forward in great big steps, I think, because if you can think it, you can do it. That's the key. So get your thinking cap on here, I think, and you will be able to move yourself forwards to where you want to be, because you'll figure it out.
And I see this sometimes as a real estate card or an actual physical move. So I think this month is going to open up a spot for you to go where you can feel grounded, safe, and secure.
Yeah, doesn't suck.
All right.
Another card that doesn't suck.
Gilda, my Aquarian friend, we are in for it. We got to host Pluto for the next 24 years.
Oh, get over it.
Gilda, communication is the key.
Oh, I like this card.
I think this is about saying a lot with a few words, right? Maybe you're used to communicating through really lengthy explanations, and I feel like you're figuring out how to be really concise and to the point and get your point across without static and interference.
Yeah, I think for you, also, this is going to sound lunatic, but I think for you to inspire your emotional intelligence, you need to go to church. But your church isn't a building.
Nature. Yeah.
This is very much, reconnecting with nature, actually getting out and hiking or whatever, and really, connecting back to the nature of nature. And I think it's going to be very restorative for you. I know sometimes when we feel, overwhelmed, going to a place where the majesty of the landscape around us can definitely trivialize. What's she on about now?
No waffles.
Stop it now. Who's this? Another new viewer.
New viewer, hello.
Another viewer. She just goes straight in for the jugular. You've been on the channel all of 5 minutes and you just want to insult me.
I don't
Well,
know
thank
how long
you.
she's been lurking in the background. Obviously, she knows about waffles. She's been around.
I'm not waffling.
No, I think she was talking about my reading for Gilda, not your reading for Gilda. As I said, you're going to find precise words and not lengthy ways of expressing yourself. And I think she was talking about my reading, not waffling, telling Gilda not to waffle.
So, ergo, I'm obviously waffling. No, seriously, Gilda, get your ass to church. Soak up some of that good vibe. It's going to be really, really good for you.
All right, you're first for Susan.
Don't know if I want to.
No, she was talking about me.
I'm being insulted.
No, she wasn't. She was saying, I was telling Gilda you're going to find concise words.
I was talking about the reading. No, you see? It's talking about me.
No.
King of Pentacles. Who's this for?
Susan.
All right. Susan.
Prosperity.
This card also does not suck. Okay. The only thing that I would say is, whilst it's okay to enjoy the finer things in life, whilst it's okay to appreciate the flow of abundance and prosperity, always remember that the best things in life aren't things, and don't. I'm just looking at the foot on the hoof here, and it's almost like we'll squash that down a bit because it's of secondary importance, and it's not. It's, your spiritual well-being is equally as important. So don't just be driven, by pecuniary gain, which I don't think you are, but
but I feel like this is saying...
Take the card.
Hold
the card.
This is, to me, some sort of breakthrough financially, with, again, feeling financially stable.
Right.
So whatever it is you've been investing a lot of time, effort, and energy into is going to pay off very shortly.
So there.
All right. So I'm first for Misty.
Jennifer swears she's not picking on me.
I know she's not. I didn't get that vibe at all. This is for Misty.
Why not? Everybody else does.
Misty. Celebrate good times. Come on.
Oh, we should join in on the bagpipes.
Yeah. No, I feel like this is finding your tribe kind of energy. If you get invited places and you haven't really felt social, it's time to break that cycle and go and be part of something and talk to others and just get yourself out there and find your people.
All right. So this is about connecting with your tribe, honestly, and it's okay to be happy. Especially if it's not at anybody else's expense. That's the wonderful thing. If it's a mutually beneficial relationship where everybody's happy and there's great celebration here, that's good. It's good, and it's something to be. It's okay to play once in a while. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Remember that. Mm-hmm. So it's okay to play. It's part of our restorative. It restores our well-being. It's like if you don't get enough sleep, you're a cranky bugger, and if you don't play ever, you can become quite down. So play. It's okay to play and celebrate and have fun.
All right. You're first for Carol. People are saying you're sweet. See, look. Oh, Anton, you're a sweetheart. See?
Sweet, like a chewed up toffee.
All right. This is for Carol.
Carol. Oh, Carol, look.
Oh, kick the horse, baby.
There's a ton of stuff to be done here. And I don't know, but I get the feeling there's almost like a feeling of you coming back to life, if you will. And I think that's wonderful and fantastic, because I think things have been...
Misty's 4 months as a member of the sweep team.
Way to go, Misty. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Look, so Carol, you do need to put spurs to the horse a tiny little bit, though, because I think you've almost gotten comfortable, but you're coming back into your game. You're getting back on your game. So maybe a little bit of adjustment is necessary to actually get up the motivational level to go with that, because I know when you've been through a struggle, it's hard to get back in the saddle, but we just need to get things moving a bit, because lots to be done.
Yeah, Carol, I think this is again calling on you to be the voice of experience and wisdom. I think you have an awful lot to offer others, and I think they're going to want to listen. So, put yourself in that place of being the elder and the voice of wisdom. And I think it's going to go really, really well. There's that pentacle there, looking forward to the prosperity and growth that happens when wisdom is shared.
I love it. She says my horse is feeling better too.
No, there you go. All right.
Outstanding.
So, last but not least, Sean. And, I just know we're going to pull like the Hermit or something, but we'll see.
How do you know that?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. If you pull the Hermit now, I'm going to say it's rigged.
I know.
Perception, though, isn't it?
Okay.
I'll just keep pulling every card.
Well, no, I almost pulled that other one. I want to see what it was. Yeah. You are only stuck if you think you are.
Exactly.
Right? Sometimes we get thrown these challenges and chaos and things that try to keep us still. What I really think is interesting, though, I said we're going to pull the Hermit. They are both cards of somebody whose eyes are closed. But this person's blindfold. They can see out from under the bottom if they look. So you can see the way forward. You just have to want to.
Yep. Perception. Perception is key, mate. It really is. And sometimes how we look at things really does determine our reality. It really does, our perception, if you will, becomes our reality. And on the face of it, ostensibly, this card does not look good. We've got a blindfold, a blindfold and bound woman surrounded by a prison of swords on a tidal flat with the tide out. Oh dear. Doesn't look good on the face of it.
This is like initiation.
However, simple shrug, the binds fall away. Lift the blindfold, you'll see the swords do not actually ensnare you at all. You can just walk the hell out of there. So this is very much about, looking a little deeper and taking perhaps the blindfold off yourself. And there is this, I think, truism that, there are none so blind as those who will not see, So what is it you've not really been looking at? And look at it. And don't just look at it, but observe.
Right, and a self-awareness too. So.
Yeah.
But good things. This is not a negative card by any stretch. It's about how to break free, right?
Change the perception, everything changes, and that's it. And it follows as night follows day, as day follows night. So it will be, because where you put your focus, ergo your energy goes, and this is a good card if you take the lesson, yeah? If you're just going to stand there and let the sea wash you away, then not so good. But if you take an active role in enhancing your perception, you will actually see things as they are and benefit tremendously as a result of it.
Card of the week, please.
Go for it. Go for it.
I thought it was your turn to pull it.
It's never my turn. Dun, dun, dun. Ace of Cups. Hey, the same guy.
Week. Exhale. Find that breath. Get yourself ready. So I think this week could be really, really spiritually enlightening and comfortable if you find your center.
And don't forget the spirit. That's the key here. I think your spirit is the thing that will propel you to do, we can all do the mechanics. We've all got the basic building blocks, your earth, your air, your fire, your water, etc., etc. But Pamela, when she drew this card, she threw in that extra stream, and that is spirit. That's that animus, and spirit lies within everything, within everything. So, yeah, things might have been tricky, but it is, as Lisa says, time just to take a breath, center.
See that pranic energy and light.
Yeah, and really focus on your spirit. And, what have you got to do to nurture your spirit at all? What have you got to do to bring your spiritual awareness up to have more spirit? Spirit? Yes, he did, sir. All over the floor.
No, really, these next 3 weeks are about finding that comfort within.
Yeah, feeling good about things, It's, to be in good spirits, so to speak, That's not drinking them or swimming in them. But you know what I mean. Good card, I think.
Yeah.
Good card.
All right, everybody.
All right then. Well, gosh, we went over a little bit.
Well,
but such is
it's
life.
New Year's. We had a lot to talk about. And when we get closer to the Chinese New Year, I'll talk about the wood dragon. So
I made a candle for that.
Yeah, we have a beautiful wood dragon candle. Oh, candles. Been making candles like crazy people.
Oh yeah, well I'm going to make some more today. I think if I have opportunity, I know we've got to do some video work today, but
Jeez.
I think I should probably get some done because the wax melter is on and
There
the
you
wax is
go.
melted. Ha-ha.
All right, so thank you everybody. Happy New Year 2024. Can you imagine? It seems like yesterday that it was 2023.
Yep.
And it
well,
was yesterday that it was still 2023.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a whole year ago. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Do tell all your friends about us. We'd like to be less of a well-kept secret, and you can help. Share this broadcast on your social media. Thank you. And what else we got? An amazing day. Everybody's just wishing everybody happiness.
Well,
Happiness
this
good.
is important. Honestly, I really feel the light workers are needed more than ever. And I've said that before, but really, we need that voice of wisdom.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, be that bright light
For yourself and others.
Yes. And it's interesting. I just one final thought, because I have to leave you with a bit of waffle. Because we've been thinking about things. This whole hell thing, and hellfire and brimstone and all this. You're going to suffer.
Pope Francis.
What about him? Go
He
on.
declared that the Catholic Church no longer believes in hell.
Really? But hell simply means life, light. Hell. And when you say hello, we're actually wishing somebody light. Interesting thought for you there.
No, seriously, Pope Francis said that the Catholic Church no longer believes in hell.
There's no purgatory anymore.
That God loves everyone.
Okay, so they're going to be bashing him on the head then. They're not waffles, Gilda. Shut up. It's one of those little factoids you can take away with.
Don't mind if I do.
No, stop in there.
All right, people.
Go in.
Peace, love, and happiness, and we'll see you next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. We